Hi there, this is Jennifer with Broma Fields, and today we're going to be working on the Gratefulness headband knitting pattern. And I've done a few rows here. I am actually on getting ready to start row 38, but I'm going to go back and start on row 6. I'm going to use row 6 as the number that I'm on, so I'm going to hopefully not confuse you. So row 1, 3, 5, and 7 are the same, and then rows 2, 4, and 6 are the same, so the right side and the wrong side. But then whenever you get to row 8, it's different. So I'm gonna do 6, 7, and 8. And then I will do 9 and 10. So I can show you after I do the cable how it changes. So row 6, you're on your right side of your work. So how I have it structured before I get started on the pattern is my first 4 stitches on both sides, my last 4 stitches, are the stitches that are on either side of the cables. So this panel in the center. So you have 6 stitches as a panel, and then you have this 1 stitch that is a purl stitch on the right side of the work all the way down, and that's a gutter, what I call a gutter stitch. So it separates your 2 cables. So you have 6 stitches as a cable, a gutter stitch, and then 6 stitches as your other cable. And so on each cable you have your stockinette stitches, and then you have this garter stitch, and they swap whenever you do the cable. So I thought that looked really pretty. So to get started on row 6, with the yarn in the back, we're going to slip 1 purlwise, and then we're going to knit that first stitch, and that's our I cord. And the 3rd stitch we're going to knit, and then this 4th stitch on the right side is always a purl stitch. So I actually have a gutter stitch on either side of the cables. And then this here is like a seed stitch. So every other row is knit and purl. All right, so now we're ready to do our cable stitches. We're going to knit 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to purl this gutter that's in between the cables. Then we're going to knit the 6 stitches for this cable also. Then we're going to purl that stitch on the other side of the cables. Then we're going to knit 1 with the yarn in the back. We're going to slip 1 purlwise, bring that yarn forward, and purl, which doesn't look right, but we'll flip it. That's our I cord, and then we're going to tuck that under. So now we're ready for row 7, which is the wrong side of our work. So with the yarn in the back, we're going to slip 1 purlwise, bring that yarn forward. We're going to purl this next stitch, and this is our seed stitch. So we're going to knit that stitch, and then we're knitting this stitch because it's our gutter. It's a purl on the other side. So we knit this side, we get a purl on the other side. And then we're going to purl 3. So this is our stocking net stitch, half of the cable, and then we're going to knit these 3 for the garter stitch side, and then knit 1 for the gutter stitch, and then we're doing the opposite side. So we're going to knit these first 3 stitches because they're the garter stitch. So you have a purl row, a knit row, a purl row, a knit row. And this here is the stocking net, so we're going to purl all 3 of those stitches. Then we're going to knit 1 stitch for the gutter, knit the next stitch for the seed stitch, bring our yarn forward, slip 1 purlwise, and then purl that last stitch. And that was for row 7. Now we're going to do row 8. Now we do have, it is a 16 row repeat. However, every 8 rows, we're going to do a cable, and it is the same cable every 8 rows. And you'll see why here in a second. With the yarn in the back, we're going to slip 1 purlwise. We're going to knit 2 stitches. And then we're going to purl this garter stitch. With hanging this in the front, we're going to cable 6 back. So it's a total of 6 stitches. So we're going to take half the stitches. So we're taking 1, 2, 3 stitches and laying them in the back of our work. And then we're going to knit 3 stitches off the cable. Not the cable, we're going to knit 3 stitches off of our working needle. And I pull that a little bit so I don't lose those stitches. And now we're going to knit 3 stitches off of the cable needle. It's actually a little confusing because you have a cable here and then you have your cable needle. And I did not talk about the yarn at the beginning. I'll show you what I'm using at the end of the video. So we did our first cable, and then we're going to purl this stitch in the middle because that separates the cables. And now we're going to cable 6 front. So with our working right hand needle in the back, we're going to slip 3 stitches off onto our cable needle, hold it in the front of our work, and then we're going to knit 3 stitches off the cable needle. And then pull that so we don't lose them. Whoops. And now we're going to knit the 3 stitches off the cable needle. Perfect. All right. And then we're going to do our last 4 stitches. So we're going to purl the first one for the gutter stitch, knit for our seed stitch, slip 1 purlwise, bring the yarn forward, and purl 1. So that last stitch on every row is a purl stitch. And now we are ready for row 9, which is the second half, I guess, of the cables. So we just swapped the cables around. So on this side we had our stocking net stitch and then our garter stitch on this side. Now it's going to be our garter stitch we're going to do first, and then our stocking net stitch. So it's a little bit different, but just as easy. So we're going to slip 1 purlwise, bring our yarn forward, and purl 1. And then knit 1, purl 1. No, we're not. We're knitting 2. All right. And so now we switched it around. So we're going to knit these 3 stitches. So this is going to be our garter stitch row. And then we're going to purl these 3 stitches, which is our stocking net row. I guess column. Knit 1 for the gutter, and then we're going to purl 3 for the garter column, and then we're going to knit 3 and knit 1 for the gutter, knit 1 for the seed stitch, bring the yarn forward, slip 1 purlwise, and purl that last stitch. Now we're ready for row 10. This is our right side. So you can see it really come together now. Oh. I think that looks very pretty. So row 10, we're going to slip 1 purlwise, knit 2 stitches, purl the gutter stitch, and now you see here we have the the stock or the garter stitch, we're going to knit 3, and then we have the stocking knit, so we're going to knit 3 more. So you can actually look at the pattern where you're at and know what you're doing without actually having to read the pattern. So we have 6 stitches here to knit. And then purl 1, knit 1. With the yarn in the back, we're going to slip 1 purlwise and purl that last stitch. And that is as far as I'm going to go, because from row 9 to 15, so 9, 11, 13, and 15 will be the same, and then 10, 12, and 14 will be the same. And row 16 is the same as row 8 with your cables. You do a cable back and a cable front. And it really is that simple, and it is very pretty. And my yarn that I'm using is GGH Husky. It is a 50% wool, it says new wool, and 50% acrylic. It's made in Italy. I hadn't used this before. I bought it on loveknitting.com, which is where I get most of my yarn, just because I have such a great selection of so many different brands, so I don't have to order from a bunch of different places, and I can try a lot of different yarns. So I do like this yarn. It is very soft and squishy. I believe the price was in the middle. I'm not a big fan of acrylic, however, it is really soft. So I'm okay with that. But I do prefer to use more natural all wool products, but I also like to try different things just to see, because you get a different texture and look. And this one here, I don't think it's too yellow. It's a very light creamy color. I have a couple that I've gotten that were very yellow, but this one's nice. It's not super white and it's not a yellow, so very light cream. So I think that's everything, and I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will have a checklist for you guys. You guys can see mine, it's all messy. So I do make a checklist so that I can keep track of everything I've done so far to make sure. So, and then I'm ready for row 43 on my headband. I don't know that I'll do 80 rows. Because this is all I have left. So hopefully I have enough to get through the rest of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.